Live from iRacing's virtual Williams Grove Speedway in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, welcome sim racing fans to round 3 of the iRacing World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship Qualifying Series, live on Racecraft TV. Happy that all of you are with us on this beautiful Monday evening, wherever you are tuning in around the world. I am your host, Joshua Lee. Alongside me in the commentary booth is Wayne Chihaki. And Wayne, we have put 2 rounds behind us on the calendar. We come to the middle portion of this season, and the points just continue to heat up. Remember, everybody going for the top 20 in points. Felix Roy has that cut line right now, but there's a lot of drivers under him looking to get above that top 20.
Yeah, there's a lot of top-notch competitors trying to take an early lead in the points series and trying to stay above that cut line, which is really important to the competitors, especially tonight as we were in round number 2 last week, now ready for round 3 at Williams Grove. I'm really looking forward to what these competitors are going to do tonight, Josh. We saw them go crazy, especially for the last chance qualifying last week in heat number 2 with all of that chaos that happened, and now we are ready to go and get on with today's event. I'm really looking forward to what we're going to see today, and let's hear about our track, Josh.
And let's hear about it exactly. It opened in 1939, located in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, one of the star racetracks of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series and the World of Outlaws Morton Buildings late model series. Just a little over a half mile in length, long straightaways, tight corners. It takes a little bit of skill to get through these corners. You can't go completely flat out in these 410s. You do have to lift going into those corners. Going to provide just an extra layer of challenge for each of the drivers out here on the track tonight. Race analysis. 2 heat races will go racing for tonight, with the top 7 advancing out of both of our 8-lap heat races tonight. Then 1 last chance qualifier. The top 4 are going to transfer in from that 10-lap last chance qualifier, and then a 30-lap feature. 18 cars will compete in the feature race tonight for 30 laps. Cautions are off in the heat and the consolation. Cautions will be on for the 30-lap feature at the end of the night. Exciting action is gearing up. Qualifying is happening right now, and Wayne, we have seen in the past, in the last 2 rounds, how important qualifying can be. It becomes very difficult to try and make passes for that cut line to get into the feature race. If you qualify up front in the heat, there's a good chance you can pull away at the front and be one of those top 7 that advance into the feature off of the heat races.
Josh, I didn't realize how critical it was to qualify in the top spots until we got to that first round race. And then we saw how crazy this series is. I realized from then that if you don't qualify in that top 7 or the top 8, you really have to work hard to get into the main feature race. And with 2 heats and a last chance qualifying, this race is going to be another one to impress the fans and the viewers out there tonight. I know it's going to be a good one. I'm really looking forward to the action tonight.
And going over the last 2 feature races that we have had, Gregory Lamy got the first feature race win of the season at Cedar Lake. Timothy Smith was the winner at Lernerville 1 week ago. Strength of field north of 6,000 for both of those. Same thing here tonight. Another strength of field north of 6,000. This is the top split of the, I believe, 11 or 10 splits that we had tonight for this series. A lot of drivers trying to qualify for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship, and we still have 4 rounds remaining on the calendar. We're here tonight at Williams Grove, then we have Weedsport, Fairbury, and Kokomo to round out the season. Then we get gearing up for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship here on the iRacing service, and that calendar equally as difficult. Volusia, Kokomo, Bristol for the first time on the calendar, Eldora, Williams Grove, Knoxville, Cedar Lake, Lernerville, Weedsport, and the dirt track at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. No repeat races. It is a unique race in all 10 rounds, and you can catch all of the action beginning in November and heading into 2022 for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship. Time to take a look at the starting grid for heat number 1. 13 drivers try and qualify for 7 spots in the feature race. Gregory Lamy will start on the pole, Evan C to the outside, Kenny Miller, Richie Preston on row 2, Dylan Yeager, Mason Hannigan rounding out the first 6 spots. Back from there, it's Vinny Sansone, Landon Cardoza, Zachary Brouillard, and Clayton Tilley, your top 5. John Batista, Logan Rumsey, and Kenneth Dyke Jr. rounds out your final drivers on the field. 13 of them looking for success here in the first heat of the night. 8 laps on deck for this heat as they take to the track here at Williams Grove. Wayne, a lot to expect when it comes to this first heat race, and I think in particular Logan Rumsey being so far down the order, he's going to start in P12 here in this heat race. One of the drivers who has been in the World Championship in the past has a lot of work to do when we go green here for heat number 1.
Yeah, Logan Rumsey is going to have a lot of ground to make up. Currently P4 in point standings as of round number 2. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how Rumsey is going to get through the traffic. He's going to have to be very aggressive, which is what we don't see much of in heat number 1 because drivers want to keep their equipment clean. But when you're fighting to get into that main feature race, Rumsey's really going to have to work his way up there. And we'll see if he could do it or if he'll have to do it in the last chance qualifier.
That LCQ can be crucial for a lot of these drivers. Only the top 4 make it through that LCQ. We'll see if anybody is going to make it into the LCQ off of this heat race. And there you can see the schedule for the World Championship. That will begin next month, beginning at Volusia. We're not going to see Volusia on the calendar here in the qualifying series. We'll also not see Bristol Eldora. We're not going to see Knoxville on this schedule or the dirt track at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So relatively unique World Championship schedule that you can expect, and you can watch the entire season on iRacing's social medias and the iRacing Esports Network with coverage provided by RaceSpot TV. Time to go racing here in heat number 1 from Williams Grove Speedway. It's Gregory Lamy in control of the field. The green flag goes out. We are racing in the first heat of the night, and it's already an early jump for Gregory Lamy. Remember, top 7, anybody above that yellow cut line on the timing tower will advance into the feature. We have already got a battle for the lead as Evan C tries to go up the inside.
C doing a good job so far. P2 right now trying to catch Lamy on the second lap of 8 right now. And there is some good racing so far as we are on board with Evan C, currently second place. He's trying to catch up to Lamy. Lamy trying to take an early lead so far and doing just that. And he looks to be pretty consistent so far. Look at the line they're running. They're running the mid groove to high groove, and it's doing a pretty good job so far. But we've seen a lot of single file racing right now, Josh. And I don't know if it's going to be easy to pass with that.
Trying to run that outside line, get a great run down these straightaways, and also try and watch how this track is going to change, what groove is going to work in. Let's go back to the battle for the transfer right now. Clayton Tilley is trying to get that 7th spot away from Dylan Yeager. You can see Tilley making a move down to the bottom, gets to that bottom line, but cannot complete the pass. This is the battle for the transfer, the battle for P7. Dylan Yeager, Clayton Tilley, we've seen them in both of the top split broadcasts in the first 2 rounds of the qualifying series. Tilley has qualified for the feature race off of the heat in every single one. He's at risk of being eliminated to the last chance qualifier here right now.
He's going to really have to ramp it up to try and take it. 6 of 8 to go right now. And Rumsey moved up a few spots in P9 right now, on board with Dylan Yeager on his bumper. As we could see, there's starting to be some traffic behind him. We're coming to the closing laps of this heat right now, Josh, and it is about to get heated with Yeager, Tilley, and Cardoza.
Tilly side by side with Jaeger. Can he complete the pass? No, he can't. Jaeger's going to send it to the inside, trying to get that pass made. Exactly what he is going to do. He holds the spot back, and Tilly now with a run to the bottom on the white flag lap. Slide job through turn 2, but Lamy with the crossover. Trying to keep that spot is Dylan Jaeger. Gregory Lamy's going to take the win. Rumsey makes a diving move, but at the line, Clayton Tilly with a slide job through turn 3 is going to walk away with the final transfer spot in heat number 1. An absolutely insane run for Clayton Tilly to get back into those transfer spots, and he is going to the feature race with a 7th place finish in heat number 1. What a run for Tilly, and Landon Cardoza getting a spot as well. Mason Hannigan, Richie Preston, Kenny Miller, Evan C., and Gregory Lamy all moving on to the feature. Dylan Jaeger, Logan Rumsey, Zachary Brullard all will go into the LCQ. Same thing with Kenneth Dake Jr., Vinny Sansone, and John Batista finishing off the pace in the pit lane is that number 16 machine. Let's take a look at your starting grid now for heat number 2. It's Clayton Davies who will start on the pole position with Joel Berkeley behind to his outside, Timothy Smith, last week's feature race winner from Lernerville, starts to the inside of row 2. Blake Majulis to his outside. David Howlett, Corey Wenzel, your top 6. And back from there, it's Brandon Proudfoot, Dean Garrity in that 4th row. Aiden Bierlin with Lyndon Whitfill in the top 10 spots. Chris Fisher, Carlin Cure, your final 2 drivers, making up a 12-car heat number 2 here from Virtual Williams Grove, ready to go racing for another 8 laps. Wayne, we saw an intense battle for the transfer spot there in heat number 1. Just goes to show how important these transfer spots are to make it into the feature. Now everybody that goes into the LCQ is at much more of a risk of not making it into the feature, missing out on huge points towards the qualifying series.
Exactly, Josh. And there's some big names that are going to be in that last chance qualifier. I think tonight we might even see some newcomers start to come toward that top 3 and even possibly win the race. We've been seeing some usual names taking the top 3 positions, top 5 positions. But tonight, with some of the big names being in the back of the field and being able to go into that last chance qualifier, I think the qualifier is going to be a huge race, including this heat. But the one we're going to look for is that feature.
And we will get that feature race going after the LCQ tonight. This is heat number 2, top 7, just like in heat number 1, will advance their way into the feature race. Everybody down from there will race with the 6 drivers who are eliminated out of heat number 1 and go racing in the last chance qualifier. On the gas goes Clayton Davies, pole sitter for heat 2. We are racing in the 2nd heat race of the night. Remember, same deal, top 7 advance their way into the feature, and running away already with the top spot is Clayton Davies. Battle for the transfer, not much of anything right now. Never mind, make it 3 wide for the transfer as Brandon Proudfoot tries to hold on. Here comes Dean Garrity trying to get to his inside. Car on the wall, that's Corey Wenzel as Proudfoot goes back to the bottom. Proudfoot's loose. Proudfoot is wrecking.
Crazy wreck in the turn, and he is going to be on his side. What a hard moment there. And they were 3 wide racing for a few laps there, Josh. As we go back to the replay, we could see the chaos start to unfold on this turn here as you're looking on board with 25 right now. He turns around, gets on his side, and ends it on the lid. Hard wreck there, but he's gonna be done for the race, I believe, as we are back to the action on the track. Greg Lamy Jr. currently leading the race right now with Berkeley in 2nd place and Majulis in 3rd. Your top 3 right now.
Davies at the front, Berkeley, Majulis, Smith, Howell at the top 5. Go back to the transfer. A little bit of a battle in the spot below the transfer right now, but now battling for the transfer is Carlin Cure and Dean Garrity. They're fighting for that 6th spot right above the transfer. We're focused right now on Dean Garrity as he goes to the bottom, 3 wide, as Wenzel now is going to get involved in this fight. Now Wenzel has that transfer back to the bottom, looking for for the spot is Garrity. Garrity's going to get a little bit loose on the inside line. Still trying to hold on. You're on board with the 13 now. Looking for the transfer spot, that P7 that is ever so crucial. And it looks like the battle has just broken up as Wenzel, I believe, just got into the wall, pushing him back into P10. That puts Garrity back into the transfer, and it's no battle up front right now, Wayne. Clayton Davies pulling away at the front.
Yeah, Davies is going to cruise to this finish right now. Davies most likely going to take the win. Berkeley and Majulis in second and third right now. And looking at that cutoff line, it looks like everything is evened out right now. No battles for the lead, and that is going to conclude heat number 2 here tonight.
Dean Garrity is going to hold on to that transfer. Lyndon Whitfield so close, just was not close enough to grab that final transfer spot. Heat number 2 results are up on your screen now. Clayton Davies, Joel Berkeley, Blake Majulis, Timothy Smith, David Howlett, Carlin Cure, and Dean Garrity will advance into the feature race. Everybody else will have to race out of the consolation, the last chance qualifier that is coming up right now. Dylan Yeager, Lyndon Whitfield on the top front row, ready to take the green flag. As back from there, it is Logan Rumsey. Surprising to see him here in the consolation race. He starts to the inside of row 2. Aiden Bierlin, Zachary Brillard with Corey Wenzel, your top 6. Back from there, 11 drivers ready to take the green flag. Kenneth Dake in the inside of row 4. Chris Fisher to his outside. Vinny Sansone, Brandon Proudfoot, and John Batista. The 11 drivers looking to take the green flag here in the consolation race. The last chance for these drivers to walk away with a spot in the feature. Ever so important to get a spot in the feature when it comes to the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. Remember, we go from the top 7 advancing into the feature race out of the heats to now the top 4 advancing into the feature race out of this last chance qualifier. 7 drivers are going to be going home off of elimination. And then we will have the 18 drivers ready to take the green flag in the feature race when we begin that 30-lap journey a little bit later on. Right now, all the focus is here for the last chance qualifier. So we get ready to go racing. We will up the lap counter as well from 8 laps into 10 laps. And we'll see who can tame the track for 2 extra laps. Doesn't sound like a lot, but especially in these 410 sprint cars, you got to get out of the mindset of 8 laps and make sure that you can make it count for all 10. The track, of course, starting to wear in. Going to be a completely different track as we go racing into the feature race tonight, but still a little bit of a challenge to that track here in the last chance qualifier. Dylan Yeager starts on the pole. Lyndon Whitfield to his outside. Logan Rumsey, Aiden Bierlin, Zachary Brillard, the top 5. Top 4 advance their way into the feature. We are racing in the consolation, and already battle for the transfer starting to heat up as Brillard is going to take it. Now here comes Wenzel 3 wide looking for the transfer. Main battle is with Aiden Bierlin. Bierlin's going to send it to the inside. Put Bierlin up to P4. Wenzel fighting for the 5th spot with Brillard on the outside.
Wenzel having a good battle right now. The top 4, like you said, the only ones that are going to get to that main feature. And we have some big names out here right now. Yeager taking the lead by a few tenths of a second right now. Rumsey and Whitfield in second and third, and Berlin battling with P5 right now as we are on board. Battle for 4th going on right now, only on the 3rd lap. They are 2 wide on the backstretch, and they are still going into the turn.
They slammed into each other going into turn 3 as well. A little bit of a wheel tap as everybody battles for this transfer. Bierlin now on that cut line. He sends it to the inside. Also down on that bottom line is Corey Wenzel trying to make it work down there. Lyndon Whitfield is now that driver on the transfer. Make it Zachary Brillard once again. But take a look at the run to the outside from that number 53 on the car. That's Zachary Brillard trying to hold off Lyndon Whitfield on his inside. inside. Whitfield gets loose. That's going to move Aiden Bierland into prime position to race for this transfer. You're on board with Bierland now as he tries to get by that number 21 in front.
Bierland trying to make it work right now on the bumper, making contact right now, trying to use the inside line. They are neck and neck right now, too wide into the third turn. Still going right now, and it looks like he's going to clear him on the inside and take it right now. Bierland in fourth place, trying to hold on for Wenzel and Whitfield.
Oh, contact! That's Wenzel and Whitfield that just made contact going down into the corner. They both save it. Just a little bit of a wheel tap. No damage, no wreck. We will keep on racing, and Aiden Bierland's loving what he's seeing in his rearview mirror. He's able to pull away with that transfer spot right now. Back up to the front. Small battle for the lead between Jaeger and Rumsey. Probably the two most surprising drivers to end up in this last chance qualifier are leading the way. John Batista makes his way into P number 5, and he's still fighting with Corey Wenzel. And as they continue to race side by side here, Wayne, Bierland's pulling away with that transfer spot. Looks like they're going to need a miracle to get that transfer spot with 1 to go.
I'm not sure if Batista is going to have enough speed and time to catch him right now. Bierland is pulling away back to P1. Jaeger is cruising to the finish right now. Rumsey in P2. And it is a good race so far. It looks like they've evened out and coming to the flag to the finish. And it looks like Jaeger is going to take it.
Great run on the track for Dylan Jaeger. He is going to walk away with your final transfer spot into the feature race. The results of the consolation coming up now. The 11 drivers who attempted to qualify for the feature race. Jaeger, Rumsey, Bullard, and Bierland, the only drivers out of those who are able to walk away with that spot. Batista, Wenzel, Whitfield, Sansone, Fisher, Dake, and the last driver on the list, Brandon Proudfoot, unfortunately being eliminated for Jim Beaver Esports. That puts us to the feature race tonight. Let's take a look at your feature race starting grid. Gregory Lamy on the pole, Clayton Davies to his outside, Evan C., Joel Berkeley, and Kenny Miller, your top 5. Blake Majulis will start in P6, Richie Preston, Timothy Smith, Mason Hannigan, and David Howlett, your top 10. Back from there, Landon Cardoza and Carlin Cure round out the top 12, and rounding out the field, it is Clayton Tilley, Dean Garrity, Dylan Jaeger, top 15, Logan Rumsey, Zachary Brillard with Aiden Bierland, your 18 drivers who are looking to take the checkered flag here in the feature. So we go from 8 laps over to 10 laps, now to 30 laps here in the feature race tonight. And 30 laps is a lot different than 10, and it certainly is a lot different than 8, Wayne. And we have seen that because cautions are on here in the feature race, we could also see some yellow flags be thrown into the mix, and those restarts have proven to be crucial if we get them.
Exactly. You never know what's going to happen during these races. I'm looking at the back of the pack right now, Josh, and we see Tilley, Rumsey, and Jaeger. 3 big names back in 14th, 15th, and 16th, and they're going to have to work their way up this big field tonight. There's 30 laps, and like you said, anything can happen. Cautions are on and available, and we might see that come into the mix. I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen here tonight. But if those 3 big names stay in the back, we could possibly even have a new winner this week, as Lamy is in P1 with Davies in P2.
Remember, the last 2 feature race winners were Gregory Lamy and Timothy Smith. Lamy won back at Cedar Lake. Smith won 1 week ago at Lernerville. Big question is, will one of those drivers go to victory lane here in the feature race tonight and be the first drivers to win multiple feature races here in the qualifying series top split? Ready to go racing for 30 laps tonight. Gregory Lamy will lead the the field to green, and let's go racing. Feature time from Williams Grove, and a great start for Lamy at the front of the field. Here comes Davies going to the inside, stays side by side with Evan C as everybody fights out of turn number 2. Still side by side back from there. Kenny Miller, Joe Berkeley side by side. Out in front, it's still Gregory Lamy getting a comfortable lead now at the front of the field as he runs the outside line. Everybody fighting for positions further on back, but the outside line seems to be the one to watch right now as everybody just about in the field is trying to get up there or currently running it.
Trying to get packed up right now, and we're going to get to single file racing probably in a few laps, but right now we are having some good action so far, and these drivers are really putting on a heck of a show for the fans so far. Only the second lap in, we've seen some 3-wide action as we might have some technical difficulties in the booth right now. Fans, please give us a moment here.
Now we have a replay here. Caution was called, and there is the incident. Double drivers getting involved in that one. Carlin Cure, one of them. Not sure who that other driver involved in this one is. I believe David Howlett. Yes, it is. Howlett's the one going up and into the air. That's Zachary Brillard in the number 32 sim stamped car on getting involved in that one as well. Or I believe the 52, excuse me. There's the 2 cars getting involved on the top side. The 13 also getting involved in that one as well. And there's that number 53 down on the bottom line. So the first caution called of the night, and that will put us under the yellow flag. Remember, caution laps do not count here in the feature race, but cautions can be called. So the field is frozen at lap number 2. We'll go racing back onto lap number 3. And the lights are looking to go out on the pace car here this time by. And single file restart, Wayne Evans C now in second place was able to make an overtake on Clayton Davies, get himself up into those top 2 spots. But the rest of the top 5 has remained unchanged. And Gregory Lamy is looking at the same dominating feature race that he had a couple of weeks ago at Cedar Lake to get that first feature race win of the season.
He is right now, and I'm really having my eyes on Evan C right now. He's not someone we saw in the top 3 for the last 2 races, and now being up here and in a prime spot basically to try and take that lead. He's going to have a good shot at it as we're going to go single file. This is the racing that really keeps it competitive and even. When you're double wide and starting, it's all chaos, but when you're single file, it's all about the line you're running and how much speed you have into these turns. And I think Evan C has a good chance at that as we are back green here in our feature race.
Green flag called right back. Gregory Lamy at the front trying to hold it. Evan C looking down to the bottom, not able to get close enough yet. Everybody getting stuck in now, seeing which line is good. It looks like the inside line starting to come into play. A little bit of a side-by-side moment between Richie Preston on the outside. That's Blake Majulis on the inside in the sim stamped 127, trying to get that inside line to work. But right now, looks like that middle line through turns 3 and 4 is looking dominant. That looks to be where the moisture is. You look to turns 1 and 2, no moisture on the bottom, most of it on the outside line, as most of the field runs up there. Couple of drivers experimenting with the inside line, specifically Joel Berkeley. We're right on board with him as he goes up into P3. Issues for Clayton Davies. He gets contact with a couple of cars, falling down the order, contact with the inside guardrail as well. He's gonna get that car slowed down. No caution. We stay green. Battle at the front, still between Lamy and C.
Lamy doing a good job so far at holding this lead. And like you said, Josh, these drivers are experimenting. It's only the first few laps here, so they're really trying to find what line is going to give them an advantage against their other competitors. On board with Joel Berkeley right now, currently 3rd place, lowest position, 4th place. He's been very consistent, and I know he's going to get a top 5 finish tonight. He's doing a good job at running that outside groove right now, and he's trying to catch up with those fast competitors up ahead. We're on lap 8 of 30 right now, and they are still single file. It looks like we have 2 cars battling out, maybe in the 4th position right now, or 5th position. I saw them 2 wide. There it is, right in the back there. 23 battling out on board right now, taking the middle groove. Kenny Miller, currently 4th place, trying to battle it out for the 3rd position. Joel Berkeley in 3rd place right now, lap 9 of 30, and they are side by side.
Berkeley running the outside. Kenny Miller on the inside, trying to make it work. And here comes Miller back to the bottom, able to get a wheel out in front. But look at the run on the outside line for Joel Berkeley. He's going to pull right back up into that third spot. The inside line might have the speed through the middle of the corner, but the outside line right now is showing itself on the exit as we see sparks flying. Drivers trying to get right up on that cushion next to the guardrail up on the outside line to really get a great slingshot off of these corners as Gregory Lamy continues to set the pace at the front of the field. Now 19 laps to go. Lamy's looking at a second dominating feature race of this qualifying series season. We go back to battle for P7. The caution flag is going to fly. Zachary Brillard, Dylan Yeager involved in this one off of turn number 1 and 2.
Second caution of the night so far, and that's definitely going to put an interesting event here tonight. As we go to the replay, we see what happens. It looks like he gets into someone and hard contact made. Did not expect for someone to come up into his high groove, and that was a hard hit for the both of them. On board with Dylan Yeager.
Oh my.
And that was a hard collision, Josh. I hope he's okay and going to be able to get back onto the track possibly.
Go on board here with Brillard involved in this one. He was the one that came sliding into Yeager. Nothing he could do, right up into his racing line, and ends up slamming into him. Unfortunately, we go back live, back to the front. Remember, caution laps do not count here in the feature, so the field is frozen on lap number 12. We'll go back racing onto lap number 13 here tonight. But Gregory Lamy still up at the front, Wayne, having a bit of deja vu back to Cedar Lake, where he dominated the race there, and doing the exact same thing here at Williams Grove. Right now, nobody has anything for him, but Evan C., Joel Berkeley, they're keeping pace with him, just not able to get close enough to make any moves for that race lead.
Lamy has some real speed tonight, and he has been showing it right now. His equipment and his team have primed that car and is doing really well so far. Lap 12 of 30. I think he has plenty of time to get a big lead on the field and just run this race. He's been very fast and dominant tonight, and I think he's going to be able to keep it up, but you always have to keep a lookout in the back of the field to mid-pack with those big names that we saw get from last chance qualifier to the feature. If they could get up into these top 5, Josh, I think they have a shot at taking Lamy Jr. and trying to take that lead.
Lamy will lead the field to the green. Evan C., Joel Berkeley, Kenny Miller, Blake Majulis, your current top 5. Back from there, it's Richie Preston, Mason Hannigan, Landon Cardoza, Logan Rumsey, and Timothy Smith, your current top 10. Green flag back out in the air. We are back underway here from virtual Williams Grove, and already making a move for the lead is Evan C. Can he get the win off of Gregory Lamy right now? Lamy barely missing that guardrail off of turn number 2, but C's not done. Dives it to the inside, able to get the lead by inches, but can't get the run down the corner to complete it. Still side by side as they race through turn number 1. Evan C. is going to take the lead away from Lamy. Now trying to protect that inside line, still side by side. Lamy dives into the bottom in turn 3, trying to get that slide job complete. Can't do it. C's still on the outside line as they come across the stripe. Back into 1. Lamy with a great run through the middle line. Gets it back to the outside, but they're still side by side, swapping spots at the front.
Side-by-side action for Evan C. and Greg Lamy Jr. as they are still battling out, Josh. This is one of the best of the season so far. Two big names going for it, and C is able to hold his lead right now against Lamy. He just has to try and defend it. C has had a great car tonight, running that P2 position, and now you're seeing it come into play after that caution. Evan still battling out side-by-side and barely holding on to it as we go into the turn. Lamy gonna try and use the outside to his advantage, and it looks like Evan C is gonna be coasting here for a few laps here, playing the defense. Now on board with Joel Berkeley in P3. We have a three-way battle trying to go for that first position, and Lamy seems to be losing a little bit of ground here right now. 18th lap, and he is side by side with Berkeley right now.
Getting into the latter laps of this race, 12 to go at the line, and battle for the lead now has fizzled out. Evan C with a great lead at the front of the field right now by over 5/10, trying to keep that gap up as Berkeley gets by Lamy for P2. Lamy now being attacked by Kenny Miller, trying to take away that third spot, that podium spot away from Lamy. Now Berkeley has a huge opportunity in front of him to try and get the feature race win away from Evan C. But Lamy looks like maybe, Wayne, reacting badly to the changing track state. He looks like he's all over the place right now. That car that was stable at the beginning now is not looking good for Gregory Lamy. He runs up on the cushion, but is now losing time each and every lap. Richie Preston now to his back bumper as we have 10 laps to go.
Yeah, I can't believe how much the track conditions have affected his vehicle so far. We were just talking about how dominant he was for the first 15 laps, and now Evan C able to take the lead and holding it by 0.8 right now. A big lead on Berkeley as we go on board with Berkeley right now. Battle for first place. He's going to have to make up some ground with only 9 laps. That goes very fast, especially at these types of tracks. And I think Joel Berkeley is going to have a chance to do it if he could keep up and keep pace with Evan C. As we look to the mid pack, we can see some battles going on right now, and they are single file. I believe we have some side-by-side action contact made there with the one and another vehicle.
Whoa,
and someone
Berkeley is
flipping on the track. We have a yellow.
Joel Berkeley was the one that was flipping from second place to wrecked out. The number 17 of Joel Berkeley. Let's take a look at that replay. He slammed the outside guardrail, flipping up and over, lands back on all 4 wheels. But what on earth happened? He got a little bit too far up the racetrack, Wayne. Looked like he was trying to run the cushion, slams into the guardrail, and up and over he goes, and a great second place finish for Joel Berkeley. Just now down the drain for him. He's going to be finishing in the pit lane with that damage.
Yeah, really unfortunate events for Joel Berkeley. Was really looking forward to him getting a good position, but that's what you put on the line. It's either you go all on the line or you don't do it at all, and unfortunately didn't work out for him tonight. He's going to be back next week, and he wants vengeance on this field, and especially on the next track. We only have 7 laps to go in this feature, Josh, and this is going to get crazy. What do you think is going to happen here with these last few laps happening with all these great talented competitors in the top 5?
Honestly, not sure, because take a look at who we have up front. Of course, we've seen the speed from Evan C, able to beat Gregory Lamy straight up in that last green flag run. But talk about Kenny Miller. Started back in P number 5 and has now gained 3 spots up into second place. We haven't really seen what his speed is at the front of the field. What can he do? Gregory Lamy, he's not far behind in P3 right now. He still has an opportunity to get this win. This restart, Wayne, is going to be absolutely crucial because it's really going to be the test of who is going to walk away with this win, who can nail this restart.
Yeah, I have no idea what is going to happen. 7 laps to go, and we saw the battles we had during the race. Now that they're all packed up for 7 laps to go, this is going to be chaotic, and this is going to be one that the viewers are not going to want to miss. Evan C, Kenny Miller, Greg Lamy, your top 3. This is about to get big.
Here we go. Evan C will restart at the front of the field. Kenny Miller, Gregory Lamy, Richie Preston, Blake Majulis, the top 5. Back underway. 6 to go from Williams Grove. C dives it into turn number 1. Bottom to the top. He'll keep the lead. Kenny Miller, Gregory Lamy fighting back from there, and the caution flag comes back out. Contact, I believe, between Blake Majulis and one other driver. Not sure who it was. We'll go back, take a look at this replay, and what on earth happened to Blake Majulis? Contact with the driver behind him. Spun Majulis out. Contact with one more driver and just spun him around. Oh, that was Richie Preston he made contact with. Majulis spins, and David Howlett, he barely tapped there. Well, there's one more look at the incident. One more driver getting involved. Not sure who that was. We'll go back one more time. I believe that was Clayton Tilley who got involved in that one. The one on the bottom line. Actually, that's Mason Hannigan involved in that one. So that brings us under the yellow flag once again with Evan C. at the front of this field. Now, with 6 laps to go, we'll go back racing with 5 to go. And if that restart wasn't intense enough for you, we're going to have another one even more intense here with 5 laps to go. But cautions breed cautions, Wayne. These drivers are getting antsy. And with these 410 winged sprint cars, any sort of contact is easy to make. You're already running close together at high speeds on very small racetracks. Things can get ugly quick, like we have seen a handful of times tonight.
Yeah, and that's the handful of things that make this type of racing even better to watch. 6 laps to go. We're going to have a single file restart. We saw Evan C have a lot of speed on that restart we just had, and if he could keep it up, he could possibly take this win. A lot of new names from the mid pack coming to the top of the pack, with the others over in the mid pack. They're switching out tonight, doing an Uno reverse, and 6 laps to go. We're gonna see some big action happening. This is gonna be a crowd pleaser, and I'm really looking forward to it. I don't even know what's gonna happen.
If you thought the action was over, it's just about to begin. Evan C., Kenny Miller, Gregory Lamy, Richie Preston, Mason Hannigan, the top 5. C's in control of the field. We're back underway. Bottom to the top. C gets the lead off of this restart. 5 laps to go from Virtual Williams Grove. Miller and Lamy trying to make a run on the outside line, trying to run the cushion. We go on board with Kenny Miller trying to chase down the race leader at the front of the field, looking for the race win. Evan C. leads them back to the line with 4 laps to go. Can Kenny Miller catch up in time? Does he have enough? Gregory Lamy goes side by side with him as they race back into 3, but Evan C. pulling away, 3 to go at the line.
Lamy and Miller battling it out for second place. I think if Evan C. keeps going the way he is and Lamy and Miller keep battling it out, Evan C. is going to be coasting to the finish with 3 laps to go. The battle is all for second place right now. Keep your eyes on Lamy and Miller, P2 and 3, side by side into the turns, and they are still battling out. Now with coming the 2 to go, Lamy trying to make something happen on that inside groove, and it's not going to work yet, as there's still going 2 laps remaining.
1 to go this time by. Who is going to walk away with this feature race win? It's Evan C. at the front, trying to be the 3rd unique driver in a row to get a feature race win in the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Qualifying Series Top Split. Through turns 3 and 4, the checkered flag is shown, and Evan C. goes to victory lane in the feature from Virtual Williams Grove.
Huge win for Evan C. I knew he could do it, and he gets the win. So proud of him. That's a big win for Evan C. this season so far. Kenny Miller, 2nd place. Greg Lamy, 3rd. Richie Preston, 4th. And Mason Hannigan, P5. Your top 5 rounding out the race tonight. What a great feature it was, Josh. We had a lot of cautions, which put a great big gap into what's going to happen tonight. And I had a blast commentating with you.
Evan C., one of the drivers who is known around the World of Outlaws and Dirt Car Esports for modified and late models. He is showing himself as one of the strongest drivers in the next crop of talent for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship. Here's your full finishing results from the feature race. Evan C. walks away with the win. Kenny Miller, Gregory Lamy, Richie Preston, Mason Hannigan, your top 5. Logan Rumsey, Landon Cardoza, Clayton Tilley, Aiden Bierlin, and Dylan Yeager, your top 10. Looking back from there, it is Blake Majulis, Zachary Brillard, Dean Geardy, David Howlett, and Carlin Cure, the top 15. Timothy Smith, Joel Berkeley, and unfortunately Clayton Davies caught out early. He finishes P18 on the results tonight. But we enter into the post-race show, and unpacking everything that happened during that feature. It was an exciting one, and we are about to speak with the main driver that was dominant through that feature race, but unfortunately was just caught out at the wrong time by the changing track state, and he ends up finishing in P number 3 here in the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Qualifying Series. It is Gregory Lamy, and we will talk to him here in just a moment's time. And we'll bring him up here in the broadcast booth now. Greg, thank you for joining us. First of all, here post-race, and it looked like you were going to have another walk-away feature race win like you had at Cedar Lake, but what caught you out there? We thought up here in the booth it was the changing track state. What say you from the inside of that race car tonight?
Yeah, it's the track changed real drastically after that one caution flag, and I wasn't 100% expecting it to change like that, and Evan and Joel and Kenny got underneath me, and I know I'm sitting decent in the points, so I'm not going to push it super duper hard against guys who are out there pushing it for every point they can get. So I took a nice easy 4th at that point of what I thought, and just coasted around with my teammate Richie Preston behind me, and we could take home some really good points tonight. But unfortunately, Joel got into the wall and took himself out, so I'll take a podium spot. And we didn't push. We didn't really have to battle super hard tonight. I gave it a go with Evan, but he just wanted it more tonight than I did that win. So congrats to him. Congrats to Kenny for awesome races. They drove great, and hey, we're points and on to the big show now.
Well, 3rd place is definitely nothing to slouch at, and you came into this race after a little bit of a struggle at Lernerville as well, P11 in the points, but this is definitely going to get you a little bit further up above that cut line. Is the main strategy going into the remainder of these races to just get solid points? Doesn't really matter where you finish, or is those wins in the feature race going to be important to you in the last remaining 3 rounds of this campaign?
Well, Lernerville is by far my worst track on the whole service, so I knew going into that it was going to be a struggle. I qualified bad, and just some bad luck, and a really bad netcode in front of me and Richie at the same time, and we flipped it, kept it on all 4, and nursed it home. So we took it as a win that night to get on 100 points off our worst track and a flip. So going into the rest of the races, these are my favorite tracks: short tracks, the wall. That's where I like to be, so I'm excited. I'm definitely going to be pushing for wins those races, but I'm not going to put myself in a compromising spot. And I think Clayton said it best in week 1: is we're racing for the Pro Series. There's no money given out for this series. Just trying to get in. So if an 8's the best I got that night, I'll take an 8. But I'll definitely I think have a little bit more for these guys when it comes to Kokomo and Weedsport and Fairbury. So I'm excited.
So I think it's safe to say that come Weedsport in 1 week's time, we're going to see that number 98 machine back towards the front.
99, but I will take it. But yes, I'm going to hope to be up there on the podium again and talking to you guys. It's an amazing broadcast, by the way, guys. I love to watch it back. Even when I'm flipping down the front stretch at Lernerville, I still love to watch every minute of it.
Well, thank you so much, and I do apologize for getting your number wrong. Different from the sim numbers to the sim stamp numbers. It gets very confusing to watch. But thank you so much for joining us post-race here on Racecraft TV, Gregory, and congratulations on your 3rd place. And we look forward to seeing you back in action at Weedsport in 1 week's time.
Yeah, for sure, guys. And huge shout out to the Elbows Up team, School of Sim Racing. If you guys haven't heard of it, Tommy Brandon over at School of Sim Racing started working with me before I could even get around a tacky track without wrecking. So huge shout out to the Elbows Up, School of Sim Racing, Tommy Brandon, Tyler Schell for spotting for me. So thanks again.
Well, thank you very much for joining us once again. That is Gregory Lamy, 3rd place finish for him tonight from Virtual Williams Grove. And like he mentioned, Wayne, back to the short tracks like Cedar Lake, Weedsport in 1 week's time, and then Fairbury and Kokomo to round out the season. We officially put half of the campaign behind us. We have half to look forward to, and the battle for the transfer, that top 20 cut line in the points to make it into the championship series, is only going to heat up even more from this point on.
Exactly. It is really going to be a big chase to get in the top 20. We see on the cut line Felix Roy in 20th position, and right below him, Joe Quinn. They are very close in points for that cut line. So the people that are really close in points there, they really have to keep up and stay consistent. Even if they're not getting top fives, if you're a top 10 and a top 15 driver, that's good for your points. You got to stay consistent throughout every week. And I'm looking forward to what action we're going to see at Weed Sports Speedway. It's round number 4 there as we conclude round number 3 tonight. And I really love short track racing. It gives a lot of crazy wow moments. And even here tonight at a larger speedway, we still saw some crazy action, Josh. We had plenty of cautions, which packed up the field and brought them back together. And it's going to get even crazier with 3 races remaining in the season. We're going to look forward to what is going to happen for the rest of the weeks coming up.
And we hope to see you in 1 week's time when we go racing from virtual Weed Sport for the 4th round of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship qualifying series. That does it for our broadcast tonight. For Josh Edmondson at Racecraft TV and for my colleague in the booth, Wayne Shihaki, my name is Joshua Lee. Thank you so much for tuning into live coverage for the 3rd round of the iRacing World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship qualifying series from virtual Williams Grove, and we hope to see you in 1 week's time when we go racing from virtual Weed Sport.